This segment of the Alice Stewart Show is brought to you by Aero Plumbing. For all your household or business plumbing needs, call Aero Plumbing at 1-866-PLUMBER or schedule an appointment online at aeroplumbing.net.
Welcome back to the Alice Stewart Show, 7:34, 26 minutes until 8 o'clock on Big Week, the final push, the 11th hour of this campaign for midterm elections. And we're looking at 8 days until Election Day. And you see a lot of ads on television. You get a lot of mail pieces in the mail. You get a lot of phone calls. But those of you who do a lot of your work and receive a lot of your information online, you are no doubt being inundated with online ads and activity. And that's something that the campaigns are really relying on, adapting to the new digital realities. And here to talk about that, I'm joined with Steve Brawner. He's an independent journalist, and you can see his work at independentarkansas.com. And his latest piece on talkbusiness.net addresses this: political campaigns adapting to new digital realities. Steve, good morning.
Good morning, Alice.
And talking about this, we'll look at clearly one of the biggest races in the country, but the big one here in Arkansas, it's the U.S. Senate race between Senator Mark Pryor and Congressman Tom Cotton. From the social media standpoint, how do the two compare in terms of social media outreach?
Well, you can look at one measurement, their Facebook page likes. Tom Cotton has 239,000, while Mark Pryor has 19,000. And that's just a tremendous difference, 239,000 to 19,000. And a lot of those are no doubt out of state for Cotton, but those are still out of state people who are getting Tom Cotton's posts and updates in their news feed and being reminded that they might want to give money to his campaign. So it's a huge advantage. There are other kinds of digital media. Supposedly Mark Pryor has a very strong email campaign, but then so does Cotton. But that's one measurement that shows the difference in the two.
Absolutely. And, the question will be pushing those folks that follow them on Facebook and on social media, encouraging them to vote. And you mentioned also in your piece here about the line item expense, that television advertising is key and it's big in these races. But digital media is another expense, and some say valuable expense for these campaigns. It
is. We should not fail to emphasize that TV is still king with the biggest races.
Right.
I mean, in the Senate race, there's been 50,000 ads run, 50,000 in Arkansas alone for Cotton or Pryor. But increasingly, the social media line item is important. It's just something that's being put in on day one. It's a smaller percentage. Asa Hutchinson's campaign said it was in the six figures for theirs, which is not insignificant, but still pretty small compared to their overall budget. But it's growing in importance because it has just so many tools that other kinds of campaign tools don't have.
And that's a key, is that so many campaigns are, pretty much everyone does it now. I mean, you almost have to, but the question is, what exactly makes a successful online marketing campaign? Well,
the one thing that I was told by Scott Colbert with Impact Management, a consulting firm, was that you have to have something to share. Once a campaign puts something out there that can then get passed on by their supporters to other potential supporters, that's what's really powerful. And that's what's really important about online campaigning, is that it has a TV ad or a radio ad, a TV ad. We'll just focus on TV ads.
Right.
They are shotgun approaches. Whereas online campaigning is able to target a voter, they're able to see what a voter makes a voter tick, and then they're able to target that voter. Instead of spending $20,000 for an ad on Dancing on the Stars that's just going to try to hit everybody, for a few pennies they can have an online ad show up when you click on YouTube that is directly targeted to your interest and what's likely to motivate you to vote for their candidate.
Absolutely, and it's, as you say, it's more targeted directly to the people that would be more inclined to vote, and that might be, in many states, certainly less cost, but more targeted. The question is, which party has a better outreach or has the leg up on this? And it's no doubt, we saw in 2012 with President Obama and the Democrats, their social media and their online outreach far superior to the Republican Party, and everyone has acknowledged that. In my view, and talking with many in Arkansas, the Republicans have done a better job with engagement with folks than the Democrat Party. And both parties will agree, and they both worked on that. Where do you see things stand party-wise, matching them up head-to-head?
I agree with you. Definitely President Obama was the pioneer in 2008 and 2012. In Arkansas, I think it's clear that the Republicans have had a big edge. I think that's partly due to the energy of the party right now. They have the momentum. They're also, probably a little younger. The Republican legislators are people in their 30s. Democrats are people in their 50s a lot of times. And you see a difference in, just the number of legislators who are on Twitter. It's significant on the Republican side. But Democrats have, they're aware of this, and parties are free market entities that react to what the market does. And so that the Democrats are catching up, but I think right now clearly the Republicans have an edge online. And
my guest, Steve Brawner, independent journalist. You can see his work at independentarkansas.com. And Steve, this is all great. The social media stuff is really nice, but nothing beats good old retail politicking.
It's still Arkansas. It's still a small state. If you haven't met Ace Hutchinson or Mike Ross personally, then your paths haven't crossed because
right.
They're out there, and especially for these also lower ballot races, online and one-on-one campaigning are super important. But yes, it's still as the campaign spokesperson for Mike Ross, Brad Howard, told me, an online ad is something that people are trying to get away from while they're trying to watch what they really want to watch, whereas retail politicking, the handshake is still important, but you just can't possibly meet they can't shake as many hands as you can get on YouTube.
Absolutely. Well, great look at the social media and all the different components that make it so valuable to these campaigns. But as you say, you got to grip and grin and burn some shoe leather, certainly in the state of Arkansas. Steve Brawner, independent journalist. You can see his work at independentarkansas.com and this piece at talkbusiness.net. Steve, thank you.
Thank you, Alice.
Appreciate you. We will take a break. When we come back, Vincent Harris, he has been dubbed last week as the man who invented the Republican Internet. We'll talk with him more about social media and the impact it has on campaigns. This segment of the program brought to you by Aero Plumbing for all of your household or business plumbing needs. Give them a call, 501-588-3200, or go online, use social media at aeroplumbing.net.